r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. If human experiments were made legal, what would scientists first experiment about? Psychology would become a lot more precise. And a lot more traumatic for subjects too. Aesthetical genetic engineering. Seeing how much people request it. If ethics is completely thrown out the window, I have no doubt in my mind that the first research that governments sponsor is genetically engineering super soldiers. I imagine some sociologists would really like to pull a Lord of the Flies type thing where you remove a dozen kids from civilization and see how they adapt. A king did this in the old days way back when his own word was law. He had children raised feral to see what would happen to them. The guy I heard about was Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I that did this. But upon a Google search you can find more as well. Pharaoh Psamtik I of Egypt and King James IV of Scotland are noted. Nerve regeneration. Could help with many conditions. Like paralysis, deafness, blindness, etc. I had my collarbone plated and screwed with 11 screws after a really bad break. Before the surgery the doctor told me he would do his best to look for the 5 or so nerve endings that cross that area. But they were very small. And most surgeons just cut right through them. I just said thank you before going under. Afterward the doc let me know he found 2. But there were definitely more that he couldn't find. Because of this I couldn't feel any topical pressure applied to the skin surface on my entire chest on the right side and down my arms, stopping halfway between my shoulder and elbow. He told me nerves don't usually grow back and this odd sensation would last for the rest of my time here on Earth. I went on with life and rehab until about 6 months after surgery when I was walking through campus. Suddenly it felt like someone had poured ice water on my right shoulder. It was so sudden I jumped, screamed, and caused the entire quad to look in my direction. I touched my shoulder, and I could feel part of it again. This sensation happened a couple more times and now I have no loss of feeling in any area of my right shoulder. So odd. Edit. Doing don't and small clarification. Putting a child in a giant inflatable ball. Periodically poking it with a stick to disprove the hypothesis that it would grow up to ducking hate them. Some children ducking hate you even if you give them the wrong cereal in the morning. Honestly, how to make viruses and viral infections more efficient yet controlled. This will make the delivery of genetic treatments more effective. Edit. AAVs exist. I forgot about that. Thanks to those who pointed it out. How to make viruses and viral infections more efficient yet controlled. I thought you were going to go the weaponized Ebola route on that. Brain transplants are the ability to transfer someone's consciousness. The day we figure out what consciousness truly is and how to transfer it is the day we defeat death. Put me in a giant robot body. I am all for it. Assuming we just throw all ethics out the window. More child psychology experiments. I'd be curious to know if the Stanford prison experiment carries over to children or if that type of following orders behavior is learned. Yeah. Intentional experiments to work out the best kind of parenting. Plato's Republic style, capturing kids and giving them different kinds of education until you make the perfect ruler. Experiments on identical twins to assess the relationship between nature and nurture. At what angle do we have to hit someone's elbow to produce electricity? Technically speaking, any angle as long as their nerves work. Gene editing to the point of being able to produce newborns with specific cosmetic and mechanical traits with near 100% precision. Basically designer babies. Very morally questionable. But imagine being able to prevent all genetic disorders in all future humans. Even having them born without appendixes and wisdom teeth. That or make real monster girls for the weebs. Give me Neckers or give me death. Extending lifespan. Already doing that. First hint that body's biological age can be reversed. Clones. Edit. Thank you guys so much. I have never got that much upvotes on anything. A clone of yourself would make it a lot easier to suck your own dong. Stem cells and cancer treatment. You ever seen the movie The Island where people are birthed just to donate their organs to rich people? Sorta like that, but we don't actually need to have another human just grow the organ in an incubator. I think they've already started growing spare human parts on pigs or mice. Imagine a person whose sole job is growing extra kidneys in his own body for transplant. Or extra ears all over his belly. Done. Ask China. First you make really good basketball player. Then superhumans for your army. Then animal-human hybrids as another branch in that army. Then when you're bored, funniest looking humans. In utero genetic modification, the ethics early on are a bit sketchy. But if this stuff actually works, crippling genetic disorders could be all but eliminated within a couple of decades. Granted, that may lead to designer babies. But with a little regulation we should be fine. So many things. Human growth development is a big one. A lot of experimental data comes from decades ago when human experimentation was more or less legal. I can't think of a few specific topics right now. Language acquisition, infant brain development, psychosocial development, human nature outside of civilization. If you mean outside of city village life, there are still some nomadic hunter-gatherer groups to study. If you mean outside of social groups entirely, then it's not human nature you're interested in. Human nature essentially involves being in groups, just like wolves or lions or ants or any other social creatures. Cat girls when? Hard to make someone believe the whole point of their lives was cause some weeb wanted to have a girlfriend and couldn't find one. Mind control. They test new drugs on human tissue than mouse, monkey than human. Plus psychology experiments are done every day. Experimentation, per se, is not bad. It just got a bad name. If a transgender person was raised in isolation only by robots having never seen the opposite sex, would they have the compulsion to transition, and if so, transition into what? How could you tell someone is transgender before they were raised? How many hard-boiled eggs without shell can a person fit up their butt? 9 and 1/3. Get a great ape to raise a child. Probably by switching a stillborn chimp, gorilla, or orangutan with a newborn infant. Repeat this several times, removing the child from its ape mother at different ages. 2, 6, 10, 18. Teach that ape human English and see what we can learn. Gorilla dad coming back from hunting trip. Now WHODA duck is this no hair having. 2 sets of opposable thumbs lacking. That ain't my kid. Apes are way too smart. Maybe a grieving mother would accept the child. But an ape community, especially one in captivity, they'd know the child was human right away. The kid would either be in hella danger or end up ostracized by the community. It would be interesting though, if we knew the child wouldn't be murked on sight. Medication for pregnant women. Since fetuses can't give consent for medical trials, it's extremely difficult for doctors to get accurate data regarding the effects to the fetus of various medications and treatments that a pregnant mother may need. First, some health preventative measures. Want a baby that we guarantee won't have these terrible genetic defects that you have a chance of passing on? Done. Then aesthetic changes. Want a blonde hair, blue-eyed kid? Or shall we go brown hair, brown eyes to make sure your kid doesn't have the traits of their actual father? Done. Then physical advantage changes. Want us to add the stamina of one race and height of another race? Done. After decades of this, rich people will use genetic experimentation and modifiers to clearly define their children as rich from birth. Like born with specific birth markings. Or wings. Who knows? Yep. Babies would be modified quickly. Rich people would spare little expense to make sure their single offspring would be the smartest, prettiest, and strongest baby they could produce. Human hybridization. Specifically, what other animals can make us viably pregnant and what animals can become viably pregnant by us. Making cat generals for the weebs. Stopping aging for the people who don't wanna die. Genetical enhancements in intelligence and physical strength would probably also be in there. I just don't wanna go bald. Is that too much to ask science? Ducking like and subscribe.